Welcome back to Give It Thought. As always, I'm Jake, and good news comment section, I get to talk about Star Citizen today. See, dreams do come true. Let's just get into it. So the guys and gals over at Roberts Space Industries, which is the team behind the long in development Star Citizen game, have said that those multiple Crytek studios going under will not affect the development of their highly anticipated space sim. This is relevant because Star Citizen is built off a modified version of Crytek's pride and joy, the CryEngine. I'll get to why those studios closed down in just a minute, but first, let's take a look at what Roberts Space Industries Director of Communications, David Swofford, had to say about the multiple studio closure. Swofford said that Star Citizen will continue development unimpeded, so thankfully this will not impact the game's progress. Specifically, he said the multiple Crytek Studios closures won't affect us one bit, and we are totally not dependent on them for anything at this point. So way to pump those biceps, guys. And I have to point out, that comment sounded like it was coming from a surfer dude. We are totally not dependent on them, bro. Now to the story of why those Crytek studios, known for the Crysis franchise, were closed in the first place. Crytek just unveiled a press release on their website that goes into the details as to why they are now shutting down 5 of its total 7 studios. In the aforementioned press release, Crytek said that they will concentrate on development in its Frankfurt and Kiev studios and continue to develop and work on premium IPs. CryEngine will remain a core pillar of Crytek's overall strategy, with enterprise licensees and indie developers alike continuing to be served by regular engine updates. So some of their big IPs will continue to be supported by them, but I think the main focus will be on their bread and butter, the CryEngine. The Crytek co-founders' reasoning for the closings was, these changes are part of the essential steps we are taking to ensure Crytek is a healthy and sustainable business moving forward that can continue to attract and nurture our industry's top talent. And that our focus now lies entirely on the core strengths that have always defined Crytek: world-class developers, state-of-the-art technology, and innovative game development. So what I want everyone to take from this is that Crytek wasn't making enough money to support those other studios. They won't come out and say it, but you know, that's the most likely reason why those 5 studios were shut down. And right before Christmas. I really feel bad for those people. Earlier this week, I ran a story that covered an alleged Crytek employee that said he and his coworkers had not been paid in 6 months, and that they were operating out of one of the studios that remained open. So if that Redditor was being truthful, I really hope this is good news for him. As I mentioned in that video, Crytek has withheld their employees' paychecks before, reportedly to try to combat bankruptcy. This whole thing is such a mess, and I hope it is close to being over. I just feel so bad for those people that lost their jobs after staying faithful to the company through the transition. There were over 700 employees in those offices, so there's going to be a large population of people who are jobless throughout the holidays. Way to go, Crytek. You made a Christmas carol come true. Well, the beginning at least. Hey, maybe they can go over to Cloud Imperium where a ton of other developers from Crytek transitioned to. Speaking of that, the Star Citizen developers recently promised to show a demo of their single-player mode for the game back in October, but that is now pushed to 2017 at the earliest. The Squadron 42 module is set to have some high-profile celebrities like Mark Hamill and Gillian Anderson make appearances, so it will likely be something pretty huge. The head of the studio, the mythical Chris Roberts, said this about the Squadron 42 trailer delay, quote, "We want to do it right. It's really important to do it right. For all the polish we need to do, it still needs more time." Meanwhile, Roberts and his team released a Space Marines trailer to IGN a couple of days ago, and I would love to show it to you, but we all know how copyright happy IGN is. Either way, it showed off a lot of coordinated movements between teams and a ton of cool zero-gravity space fights. A 12 vs 12 multiplayer map was shown in action, and some really cool details were shown in the characters' faces. It was even shown that you can shoot inside the space station while floating around outside, and when you break the windows, it'll make the atmosphere of the room leak out. All really neat stuff. It was also revealed that the Star Marine mode will launch with 2 maps and 2 modes: Elimination, which is your standard deathmatch, and Last Stand, which will have players fighting for different territory around computer terminals. I'll leave a link to the trailer in the description in case you missed it. So I just wanted to catch everyone up on the news that Star Citizen is not affected by the closure of those Crytek studios, and I wanted to do a follow-up to this week's story that Crytek has not been paying their employees. So because this is the channel that it is, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. How much longer do you think Crytek will last? And if it lasts, how will it change? Be sure to tell me your thoughts on this or anything about Star Citizen down below. But I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Hit that like button for me and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on all the incoming gaming news that drops every single day. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.